So you want to buy a hammock? We need to talk about that. What's up, guys? My name is Dan. I like hiking, I like backpacking, and if you guys like that stuff too, hit the like button below, hit that subscribe button. So you're shopping for a hammock and everything that you're doing is on Amazon. That's what I did. So the Yukon Outfitters hammock I actually bought on woot.com. This thing cost me about 60 bucks and it didn't come with the straps. So when I bought these straps, it was another about $20. So this whole setup cost me about 80 bucks for the worst night's sleep of my life. If there's anything I want you to take from this video, it's that you as a backpacker and a hammock camper or a tent person or whoever you are needs to invest in your sleep. Your sleep, when you first start backpacking, is one of the biggest things that you tend to overlook. I mean, guys get out, they buy all of their gear, they get their backpack, they get their hammock or tent, they get all of their stuff, they get it all put out and they get on the trail, and then they get to wherever they're camping at night, they fall asleep and they wake up all throughout the night rolling around. They're super uncomfortable, they're ice cold, they're sore, whatever it is, and then the next day you're miserable hiking, and it's because they bought cheap stuff on Amazon or somewhere else because they wanted to be as budget as possible to get the camping thing done right away. So one of the biggest reasons why you need to stay away from a hammock like this is because of what's called banana lay. All right, so when I get in this hammock, you're gonna notice right away as I'm laying in it, I'm not flat at all. I mean, I'm literally laying like a banana. And this is comfortable like if you're just lounging around your campsite or maybe in the backyard or your kids are in this thing or whatever. But if you're trying to sleep in this thing at night, you are gonna wake up all night long. It becomes the most uncomfortable night's sleep you can imagine. Imagine sleeping in your tent without a soft pad underneath you. You're just sleeping on the hard ground. That's kind of the equivalent of sleeping in a hammock like this. One of the other reasons why you would not want to consider a hammock like this is because it's very difficult to get insulation underneath you that's budget minded. So you're going to buy an inexpensive hammock and then you want to figure out a way to keep yourself warm, because one thing that confuses a lot of people, they think that when they sleep in a hammock they're going to be just naturally warm if they have something over the top of them, but this fabric here is very thin underneath you. So imagine like this, imagine you're in your tent at night, because I'm sure a lot of you guys have slept in tents, and if you're going to roll up against the sidewall of the tent and think that that thin piece of nylon is going to keep you warm all night, it's not, because that outside air is right there, so there's no actual insulation between you. In a hammock, you have to have some sort of an insulation, and the inexpensive way to do that is just to get a sleep pad. And most guys will put a sleep pad inside their hammock, whether it's one of those fold-up kinds or one of the blow-up kinds or whatever. They'll put it inside the hammock, and it will actually keep them warm. But the problem with this hammock is that it's really not built for that because of the banana lay. The sleep pad, if you've decided to go that route, is going to be slipping and sliding all night underneath you inside of a hammock for the most part. Now, if you've gotten used to sleeping over time, there's guys that actually do that frequently and they can do it well, and they don't have too many sleep issues. But imagine your pad in your tent moving around underneath you all night long, and you're waking up to fix it all night long, and you have to get in and out of your hammock to do that all night long. It's not a fun experience. The expensive route to insulate yourself comfortably is to get what's called an underquilt, which is essentially like a blanket or a big plushy down sleeping bag underneath the hammock that wraps underneath the hammock to keep you warm. Now, that's the most comfortable way to do that. We're not going to really get into that in this video because that's the extremely expensive way to do it. We're talking budget friendly, and I want to get you out on the trail in the right hammock the first time out. You're going to end up spending another $20 to $25 on straps with that cheap hammock you're buying. So you've got to take that into consideration. Now, you'll get lucky sometimes, if you want to call it luck, when you buy that hammock and it comes with the straps. But if it's from like some ridiculous price, just know you're going to get what you pay for on those things. But the problem with these straps is because these daisy chains are like 3 to 4 inches apart each, it really limits your ability to be precise when you're trying to hang that hammock. So this is an example of the type of hammock that I would recommend that you get for your first hammock. Unfortunately, it's not a budget hammock. I wish it was, but I don't know that there's a budget hammock on the market that exists that you wouldn't probably sell after your first or second backpacking trip because you'd be so disappointed in it. This is actually called the Warbonnet Blackbird. And I'm not telling you that you should get this hammock specifically because hammocks are, you know, they're partial to the person who's buying them. But I will tell you that this is an extremely popular hammock. There's a lot of different great hammock manufacturers out there. But I would steer you to buy something very similar to this because this particular hammock, and I'm going to set it up in a minute, you'll see that not only does it offer a system that you don't even have to tie a single knot, but it is so easy to set up, and then I'll walk you through just how comfortable it really can be for a great night's sleep out in the woods. So this is the type of hammock that I want you to consider as you're moving from tent camping to hammock camping, because in reality it's going to be the hammock you're going to end up with. You're going to spend, you know, anywhere from $50 on a cheap hammock to maybe $100 in a cheap hammock when you include the straps that you got to buy with it, and you're going to end up spending close to maybe $150 to $200 on a hammock like this, and it's going to come with the straps, and it's going to come with the system to be able to hang it to a tree. So the difference in cost is negligible compared to the night of sleep that you're going to get. I kind of look at it like this: if I'm traveling with my family on vacation, and I got to drive across the country and I got to stay at a hotel, I don't want to stay at a roach hotel for $80 when I can stay at a really nice hotel for $120, or a decent hotel anyway. So that extra $40 or so that I would have spent to get that extra good night's sleep is worth it to me. Now, and this is something I'm going to have permanently out in the woods for as often as I'm going to be backpacking. So this is just such a great thing to invest in. All right, one of the things you're going to notice right away about this hammock that's going to be different from any of those hammocks that you're going to find like on Amazon, or if you go to like Walmart or something like that, even any of the ENO hammocks, is that this one's going to have what's called a ridge line. And it's this rope right here. And that's going to go across the whole top of the hammock from the where it's balled together here all the way to the other end. And what that does is that ensures that your hammock is going to have the perfect lay underneath it every time, no matter how far apart your trees are, and it's going to maintain just where the hammock is supposed to sit when you're actually laying in it. Another thing you're going to notice right away is that a good hammock is going to have what's called a pull out, and it's going to pull the bug net away from your face, and it's going to usually have some type of a shock cord like this. It's going to stake out to the ground on both sides, and it's going to open it up so it's easier to get in and out of. One other awesome feature about a good hammock is what's called an asymmetrical lay, or a diagonal lay. It's going to allow you to lay flat in the hammock. So as you can see, my head is, the ridge line is going this way, where my head is just a little bit to the left. Now my feet are a little bit to the right of the ridge line. So I'm actually laying at an angle. So you can see, I'll open up the bug net a little bit for you, is my feet are laying here and my head is all the way down here, and this is going to give you a nice flat even lay all night long. Now just notice that as I lay back, it's nice and flat, and you can actually roll over and even lay on your side in this hammock. Generally pretty flat. I've spent countless nights in hammocks like this, and I've never been uncomfortable in it ever one time. The other great thing about a hammock like this is that you can get it with 2 layers. So what that means is the fabric is going to have the layer here and a secondary layer. So you can actually slip a pad between the 2 layers if you're going the pad route because you're trying to save some money. And what that's going to do is it's going to stop that pad from slipping around on you all night long. So it stays in its permanent position all night long. You can roll around inside your hammock and that pad isn't going anywhere. It's pretty awesome. Another great thing about hammocks like this is you're not going to have the daisy chain that you would get on the inexpensive straps that you'll see a ton of on Amazon. You're actually just going to get, in this case, you're going to get a cinch buckle. You're going to hear a lot of different stuff out there. You're going to hear whoopee slings, cinch buckles. There's just tons of different types of ways to hang your hammock. A really common way to do it is just simply something like this. It's very easy to adjust just by pulling the strap, and then you could pull these apart and loosen it the other way. And then also you can either get carabiners, but in my situation up here, I've got these what are called Dutch clips. That's for down the road as you begin to learn about hammocks, but you can get something called a Dutch clip. It's just a really lightweight, a stationary type of a carabiner situation to, you know, put this around the tree a lot easier. But the straps are really lightweight, the hammock is really lightweight, and it's just an easy way to make sure that you're gonna have a good, comfortable night's sleep. So the way you find a good hammock, and you know you're buying a good hammock, is to buy from manufacturers who really exclusively sell hammocks and who aren't made, you know, overseas in some other country, or at least designed overseas in some other country. You're going to find that the great hammock manufacturers that guys really like to buy and spend money on are the ones that are typically cottage vendors, so they're real small companies, and they're based here in the US, so they're guys that hammock camp themselves. Again, I want to reiterate that I am not in any way telling you that you need to buy this specific hammock. This is just the hammock that I chose. There's companies out there, Dream Hammock, Dutchware. There's just plenty of different hammock manufacturers out there that you can find that make great hammocks to help you get as comfortable of a night's sleep as you can out on the trail. I can't tell you how many times that I've had experiences with other hammock campers or guys who were trying to hammock camp that slept in that cheap Amazon or some other Walmart hammock for the first time, and they had a miserable night's experience, and they said they'll never try hammock camping again because of that experience. So go out and get yourself a good hammock the first time. I hope I've at least been able to convince you to do that, guys. Anyway, if you like this video, please subscribe, hit that like button below, and we'll see you on the next one. Before I let you go, I got to do a shameless plug. The person who's actually filming for me is my son. He's 11 years old. He's doing a great job, and he wants me to tell you that he's got his own YouTube channel. He's just got a couple subscribers. It's a gaming channel. If you want to check it out, I'm going to leave a little card to his channel here, and I'll put a link in the description below. It's a little gaming channel. It's awesome. Go check it out.